Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our English class online. Today we are going to talk about relative clauses. When do we are going to use relative clauses? We can use relative clauses to join two English sentences or give more information about something. We have an example here. I bought a new car. It is very fast. I bought a new car that is very fast. In this case, in this example, we have that is relative clauses. Number two, she lives in New York. She likes living in New York. She lives in New York, which she likes. In this case, which is the relative clause that we use in this example. You can see that which and that join the two sentences. Now I am going to talk about definite and not definite relative clauses. In first place, you have a definite relative clause that tells us which noun we are talking about. We have an example. I like the woman who lives next door. If I don't say who lives next door, then we don't know which woman I mean. A non-definite relative clause gives extra information about something. We don't need this information to understand the sentence. Example, I live in London, which has some fantastic parks. Everybody knows where London is, so which has some fantastic park is extra information. Okay, definite relative clauses. Number one, the relative pronoun is the subject. Consider when the relative pronoun is the subject, a definite relative clause. We can use who, which, or that. Who for people, which for things, that for people or things. Remember, the relative clauses can come after the subject or the object of the sentence. We can't drop the relative pronoun. We are going to work with clause after the object of the sentence. We have two different examples. Number one, I'm looking for a secretary who that can use a computer well. Number two, she has a son who or that is a doctor. In the first sentence, we have who or that after the object. On second sentence, we have which or that after the object yourself. Now we are going to use clause after the subject of the sentence. We have two different examples. Number one, the people who or that live on the island are very friendly. Number two, the house which or that belongs to Julie is in London. On the first sentence, we can see who or that after the subject of the sentence. On second place, we have which or that after the subject of the sentence. I am going to talk about the relative pronoun is the object. Next, let's talk about when the relative pronoun is the object of the clause. The clause can come after the subject or the object of the sentence. Clause after the object. Example, she loves the chocolate which or that I bought. We can see which or that after the object that is chocolate. Now we are going to continue with clause after the subject. We have two different examples. The bag which or that I love was stolen. In the first sentence, we can see which or that after the subject that is I. On second sentence, we have the woman who or that my brother loves is from Mexico. We can see who or that after the subject my brother. Now, no definite relative clauses. Remember, we don't use that in no definite relative clauses. So, we need to use which if the person refers to a thing and who if it refers to a person. We have clauses comes after the subject. My boss, who is very nice, lives in Manchester. Number two, my mother's house, which I grew up, is very small. In the first sentence, we can see who after the subject my boss. On second sentence, we can see which after the subject my mother. Now we are going to talk about clause comes after the object. We have an example. The photographer called to the queen who looked any. In this case, we have who after the object any. Now we are going to talk about prepositions that we use with relative clauses. If the relative clauses needs a preposition, we put it at the end of the clause. We have some prepositions that we can use with relative clauses. Listen to, work with, go to, confront, and apply for. We have an example. The music is good. Julie listens to the music. The music which or that Julie listens to is good. We can see the preposition to at the end of the sentence. We are going to continue with the question words that we use with relative clauses. In first place, we have whose. Is always the subject of the relative clause and can't be left out. It replaces a possessive. It can be used for people and things. We have an example. The dog is over there. The dog's its owner lives next door. The dog whose owner lives next door is over there. We can see the relative clause whose. Now we are going to talk about where, when, and why there are question words that we use with relative clauses. We can sometimes use these question words instead of relative pronouns and prepositions. We have some examples. Number 1, I live in the city where I study. Number 2, I live in the city when I was 7 years old. And number 3, I live in the city why I like it. We had 3 different examples when we use where, when, and why. Now, your homework. Write a sentence using the relative clauses that, which, who, whose, where, when, and why. Thanks for your attention. God bless you. Have a nice day.